Greetings, Commanders. This is Commander Mekan of the Anti Xeno Initiative. Today we'll be talking about the Thargoid Hunter-class and specifically the only ship in its class, the Glaive. We'll talk about where they are found, we'll discuss their essential statistics, we'll talk about their combat behavior and other notable facts, including speaking about their weak spot, we'll discuss their special attacks, and finally, we'll talk about combat tactics, how to fight them. Since Update 15, which introduced them, Glaives are found in hyperdictions and interdictions. They are found in surface-based anti-Xeno combat zones, and they are found in Titan space, that is, at the center of maelstroms, where they are launched by phasing membranes under the pedals of the Titan itself. In terms of statistics, the most notable characteristic of a Glaive is that it is extremely fast. It's been clocked to about 750 meters per second top speed. It's also moderately tanky at about 700 to 750 hull hit points. We're still refining the exact estimate. At 100 armor resistance, which is roughly the same as the Cyclops. Cyclops has 810 hull hit points with 100 armor resistance. However, the hearts on the Cyclops regenerate its health and need to be individually destroyed, generally speaking, whereas the Glaive has no such mechanism to regenerate its hull. The Glaives have a comparatively weak shield, which is charged by its lightning special attack and starts in offline status. They are effectively invulnerable while that lightning is charging their shield, but the shield is subsequently dropped very quickly once the charging stops. Their main repeater gun is comparatively weak, but it is insidiously precise. There's a 4.5 million bond for their destruction. In combat, Glaives maintain their target lock regardless of the target's heat level. Consequently, cold orbiting is not an option against Glaives. They have a weak spot in their rear engine, which can be hit when their lightning attack is charging, but hitting it requires using either a wing or area of effect weapons like Anti Xeno missile racks. Its anti-Guardian field has had profound effects altering the galactic battlefield, especially in Anti Xeno combat zones. We'll talk about that more in a moment. It also drops usual Thargoid materials on death, plus a caustic shard, while leaving behind a large and heavily damaging, the same as an interceptor, caustic cloud. The Glaive has 4 special attacks. Its first special attack is Lightning. Lightning immobilizes you, it shuts down a random module while quickly charging the Glaive's shield. It is dangerous to shielded ships. It is dangerous but not directly damaging versus shieldless ships. The Glaive is effectively invulnerable while its shield is charging. It's best avoided if possible, though it's often unavoidable. Its second special attack is the Containment Missile. It shuts down your frameshift drive for about 30 seconds. Electronic Countermeasures, ECM as a module, works reliably against these. Point defense systems work somewhat, but not reliably. Caustic missiles, which it fires 4 at a time, are very weak. ECM does not work against these. Point defense does really not work effectively against these either. The best counter for these is the Caustic Sink launcher if you have one. Each Caustic Sink will soak up dozens of these. Its fourth special attack is an anti-Guardian modules field effect. That will make all of your Guardian modules degrade very quickly and render them useless in a very short amount of time. There's not much you can do about this one, save for killing the Glaive as soon as possible and then repairing the often significant module damage done. It's not quite a special attack, but rams from Glaive hurt immensely. They will not intentionally try to ram you, however, as they try to fly over you, it's relatively common for them to hit you and do an incredibly high amount of damage. They hurt. Take care to avoid them. Upon encountering one or more Glaives, the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to decide whether you're in a position to fight it or not. And if you aren't, you'll want to find the best way to tactically withdraw. If you cannot or do not want to fight it, the best thing to do is to engage silent running immediately upon being hyperdicted or interdicted and boost away. If you do that, the Glaive will not lock aggro on you, and consequently you'll have more time to boost away and try and engage your hyperdrive before being hit by a containment missile. It will also so happen that if you encounter 2, only 1 will follow you, rendering the fight easier if you ultimately are forced to engage. If you are flying in Titan space and find yourself with a Glaive on your tail, it is possible to shake them by flying around the Titan and making a tight corner. Once the line of sight breaks and you have a reasonable amount of distance, the Glaives usually lose their interest. On the flip side, if you do want to fight them, first and foremost, remember that they melt Guardian modules, so build your ship accordingly. Large gimbal enhanced Anti Xeno multi-cannon are your best friends. These can be bought just for credits and need no unlock at rescue megaships. Fighting in a wing also allows for reliable stuns and works incredibly well just using multi-cannons. If you're fighting solo, you can try using missile racks to see if you can stun them, but using those is difficult. Hitting consistently is pretty challenging using missile racks. A shield, for the first time in a long time as far as the history of Anti Xeno combat is concerned among medium ships, can actually come in quite handy, given that you will be tanking these new enemies. When you do fight them, try to fight a single one at a time. 2 will give you a beating. 3 can really ruin your day. The general approach to fighting them is highly aggressive. As you cannot avoid their weapons, and you cannot outrun them, you'll want to tank them and kill them as quickly as you can. Boosting away and then flipping over and fight assist off, a maneuver we call reverse key, still works pretty well. It will give you high time on target on the glaives. If you're fighting them in Titan space, try to kill them away from the Titan itself. Their caustic death clouds can really hurt if you fight them thereafter. And remember, if you're fighting interceptors and glaives, prioritize hitting glaives, as you cannot avoid their damage unlike interceptors by staying cold. We hope you'll find this information useful on the frontline commanders. We've linked a build recommended to fight glaives in the description of the video below. And as these are so new, we're still collecting information, and any additional insight that you may have will be valuable to our efforts to combat them more effectively. Let us know in the comments how your individual battles against glaives have gone, what have you learned. Tell us anything else you think we should know. Glory to mankind, Commander Meccan, over and out.